Hello, class of 2026 and 2029. My name is Kim Dawson, and I am the Etiquette Chair for the NCL. I'm here to go over the background in history of the tea, as well as attire for the day, your attitude, and the grade level jobs, as well as proper etiquette for a tea party. So a little bit about the background in history of the tea. The history of afternoon tea dates back to Catherine of Braganza, who brought a casket of tea with her when she came to England from Portugal to marry Charles II in 1662. And she would actually invite friends into her bedchamber to share tea with her. In the 18th century, it was custom for high-born ladies to receive callers in the morning, with their morning tea while still lounging in bed. Tea gardens also became popular in the 18th century, where ladies and gentlemen could take their tea together surrounded by entertainers. The tea gardens made it even more fashionable to drink tea, and it provided an important place for men and women to meet freely. It is said that afternoon tea tradition was established by Anne, the Duchess of Bedford. She requested that light sandwiches be brought to her in the late afternoon because she had a sinking feeling during that time because of the long gap between meals. She began to invite others to join her and thus became the tradition. The chapter tea is a tradition in every NCL chapter, beginning with the first mother and daughter tea in 1947. The tea serves as a framework to cultivate NCL's core values and strengthen the mother and daughter bond, while practicing the art of etiquette and enhancing personal growth. So a little bit about the attire for the day. The attire for the tea is considered semi-formal daytime attire, and that means that this is a step up from casual dress. Dresses and skirts with blouses or refined sweater sets are appropriate. Pantsuits and dressy slacks are also okay. Hemlines should be more conservative, and please wear dress shoes. Hats and fascinators like this are also encouraged at the tea, and personally, I think everyone should wear one because when else do you get the opportunity, really? So also what is not appropriate attire would be a cocktail dress or short hemlines or any tight or revealing clothing. Strapless dresses should be worn with a sweater or a shrug thrown over your shoulders. And then a little bit about the attitude for the tea. During the tea, the attitude should be attentive, meaning that you're listening well, and then also inclusive of everyone at your table in the conversation with appropriate voice levels for an indoor event. Obviously, no phones. Please make sure that those are silenced, and then also have mindful monitoring for your grade level responsibilities for either, refilling water or food trays as needed. And then just gracious manners. Remember to please thank the host and the chairs of the event. And then my personal suggestion is just to take a moment, and appreciate the event and capture a mental photo because these years fly by really fast, and this tea is for you after all. After the tea, it's a collaborative cleanup, and everyone should pick up their individual spaces. Post-tea grade level responsibilities are posted on the NCL website, but I'm going to go over what each class's responsibilities are for you today. And then consider having some car conversations or reflections with your mom, since after all, one of the reasons we do this tea is to help strengthen that mother-daughter bond. So I'm going to go over the grade level assignments for you now, and I'd like to start with the 7th graders first. So class of 2029, you are responsible for bringing 2 types of cookies, and so you'll be making those with your class at the meeting before the event, and then you're responsible for transferring the cookies from the transfer plates onto the serving plates at the event. And approximately 31 dozen cookies need to be made by the class. So that's approximately 186 of each type. Materials needed to make the cookies are to be purchased by the class within the budget, and the recipes will be provided by the tea committee members. And then the seventh graders are also responsible for filling the teapots with hot water and refilling them as needed throughout the tea. So you'll be provided with white gloves that are to be worn while serving the hot water. So you take the teapots full of hot water to the tables at the time of the tea service. You refill the teapots as needed during the tea, and you use 2 fingers on top of the lid to hold that down to the teapot while you're serving and pouring the hot water out into the cups. Afterwards, all teapots will need to be taken to the kitchen washing area and saucers as well. So the teapots as well as the cups and saucers all need to be transferred to the washing area. Please also take the tea gloves into the appropriately marked area for laundering. And then since you're here today with your big sisters, they have all been through this before. Since I cannot be at this meeting today, please make sure that you ask your big sisters if you have any questions or concerns about your responsibilities for the tea, because they have been through it a couple of times already, and this is a great opportunity for you to connect with them and ask them for some help if you have any questions. And then for the 10th graders, class of 2026, you are responsible for bringing 2 types of finger sandwiches for the tea. So that's approximately 31 dozen tea sandwiches that need to be made by the class. That works out to 188 of each type, which works out to 47 full-size sandwiches cut into quarters. Materials needed to make the sandwiches are to be purchased by the class within budget, and recipes will be provided by the tea committee members. So in preparation for the tea day, completed sandwiches are to be brought to the tea location at least 2 hours prior to the start of the tea. The sandwiches will need to be transferred onto the serving platters and placed on the tables. And then you are responsible for refilling sandwich supplies as needed throughout the tea. Then after the tea, for the cleanup, please make sure that all of the tablecloths, dishes, napkins, etc. get cleaned up, and help take down and put away the runway and tables if needed. So lastly, I just want to go over some suggestions and tips for proper etiquette for a tea party. And just like the royals and the upper class did in the original tea parties, it's important to use proper etiquette when attending a formal tea. So here are a few tea etiquette tips to remember. After sitting down, put your purse on your lap or behind you against the chair back. Unfold the napkin and make sure to place it on your lap. And if you leave the table temporarily, place the napkin on your chair. Never blot or wipe your lipstick with a linen or cloth napkin. Lipstick stains rarely come out in the wash, and never ever use your napkin as a handkerchief to blow your nose. Instead, excuse yourself and go to the bathroom. Sugar is placed in the teacup first, and then thinly sliced lemon if it's being used. If you like to have milk in your tea, you add that after the tea is poured, and you never use milk and lemon together. You also hold the teacup using your thumb and your first 1 or 2 fingers. There is no need to stick out your pinky, as this is an exaggeration of how people sometimes tilt their pinky upward to balance the cup. Do not loop your fingers through the teacup handle or cradle the sides or the bottom of your cup. A guest should look into the teacup while drinking, not over the rim of the teacup. When stirring your tea, be careful not to clink your spoon against the cup. Gently swish the spoon back and forth without touching the sides of the cup. After stirring, remove the spoon and place it on the saucer behind the teacup to the right of the handle. Of course, never take a drink of your tea without removing the spoon first, and please never ever sip from the spoon. Take small, quiet sips of your tea. Do not blow on your tea if it is too hot. When you're not drinking tea, place the cup on the saucer. Do not pick up the saucer. If standing, you may lift the saucer with the cup. It is fine to eat most foods with your fingers, taking small bites. However, use a fork when trying to eat messy food. Scones are a traditional part of proper tea. Split the scone with a knife. Since the knife is now used, either place it on your knife rest or lay it gently on the side of your plate. Jam or curds is usually placed on the scone and then topped off with a dollop of clotted cream. Simply spoon a small amount of jam or curds onto your plate, as well as some of the clotted cream. Then you spread the jam, curds, and clotted cream onto your scone. Never use a serving spoon for this task, only the utensils that are at your own place setting. Be sure to take small bites. Since attending a tea is a social occasion, you'll want to participate in the conversation without having a full mouth. Chew and swallow completely before a drink of tea, since it is hot and is not meant to wash down the food. That's it. So thank you so much for listening. And I really look forward to seeing you at this year's tea. Thanks.